Good morning, children. In my previous video, I taught you the short story Old Man at the Bridge, in which we did the reading and the explanation of the story and the critical analysis of the story. In my next video, that is today's video, I'm going to teach you a quick recap of the story. I'm going to do a quick recap of the story. Plus, I'll also be teaching you the theme, the message, and the title justification of the story. The story Old Man at the Bridge is in the form of conversation between a soldier and an old man. The writer takes the ordinary detail and transforms it into a powerful story about the tragedy of war. The old man in the story becomes a symbol of countless civilians who perish in war. The story Old Man at the Bridge is related through a conversation between a soldier and an old man who had to leave his hometown during the Spanish Civil War. During the war, there was panic and anxiety all around. Everyone was aware of the impending death. An old man with spectacles sat exhausted by the side of a road near a pontoon bridge that crossed the river. The soldier got engaged in conversation with the old man. During the conversation, he came to know that the old man was worried about his animals that he had left behind. The old man told the soldier that he had the charge of 2 goats, a cat, and 4 pairs of pigeons. He said that a captain had told him to leave the town and the animals because of artillery fire. He had no family, but he expressed concern about what would happen to his animals. He said that the cat would be all right because cats could look after themselves, but he did not know what would happen to his other animals. The soldier was concerned about the old man's safety, whereas the old man was concerned about his animal's safety. He told the soldier that he was an old man of 76 and had come 12 kilometers and was too tired to walk up the road and catch a ride on a truck to Barcelona. The old man thanked the soldier for his concern for his safety, but he continued to express his concern over the fate of animals he had left behind. The old man remained obsessed with the thought about the safety of his animals. At the end of the story, the soldier felt pity for the old man and thought there was nothing to do about him. He realized that he could not remove the old man's concern about the safety of his animals. The story reflects the theme of depression and impending death. Title justification. The title of the story, Old Man at the Bridge, is very appropriate because the story revolves around the old man who has left his hometown during the Spanish Civil War and has arrived at the bridge for safety. It is at the bridge that the narrator engages the old man in conversation. The old man expresses his concern about the safety of his animals that he has left behind. He thinks that the cat will be all right, but he is worried about the safety of other animals. The narrator is worried about the safety of the old man, whereas the old man is worried about the safety of his animals. The narrator asks the old man not to think about his animals and to get up and walk to the trucks and leave that place. But the old man, who has already walked 12 kilometers on foot, expresses his inability to walk due to fatigue. He remains at the bridge. Thus the story has an apt title. Message. In this story, The Old Man at the Bridge, the author wants to convey his opposition to war because war spreads panic and anxiety all around. Everyone becomes aware of the impending death. Confusion and chaos prevail everywhere. During the Spanish Civil War, an old man with the spectacles sits exhausted by the side of a road near a pontoon bridge. The soldier gets engaged in conversation with the old man. During the conversation, The soldier comes to know that the old man is worried about the fate of his animals that he had left behind. The soldier is concerned about the safety of the old man, whereas the old man is concerned about the safety of his animals. He tells the old man to get up and catch a ride on a truck to Barcelona. He wants the old man to save his life, but the old man, who is 76 and has walked 12 kilometers, tells the soldier that he is too tired to walk any further and to catch a ride on a truck. The old man thanks the soldier for his concern for his safety, but he continues to express his concern over the fate of his animals that he had left behind. At the end of the story, the soldier feels pity for the old man and thinks there was nothing to do about him. The story reflects that war brings depression, anxiety, and scare of death. So, the author expresses his opposition to war. He conveys a message that war should be opposed and avoided. Old Man at the Bridge has a threefold theme. The first theme of Old Man at the Bridge is life, death, and war. In Old Man at the Bridge, the narrator, a soldier in the Spanish Civil War, tries to convince an old man sitting on the side of the road to get himself to safety before the enemy arrives. While the narrator clearly worries that the old man will die if he stays there, the old man isn't worried about his own safety. Instead, he worries aloud about the animals he left behind when he fled his hometown. Both the old man and the narrator, then, are concerned with the survival of others. The old man about the animals and the narrator about the old man. However, for both men, this concern is futile. After all, the animals have been abandoned, and the narrator walks away from the old man at the end of the story because there was nothing to do about him. In this way, Hemingway shows the horror of war without even depicting any bloodshed. War brings devastation, and that's something which has been clearly stated by Hemingway in this story. War takes life ravenously and senselessly, even those not directly involved in fighting, and for those who are not involved in fighting, and it leaves people devaluing life, unable to perform even the simple acts of salvation. The next theme of Old Man at the Bridge is religion and morality. Uncertain fate. The old man evokes the good shepherd, but he fails to care for his flock. And the narrator at first seems like he could be the good Samaritan, but he does not put in the effort to save the old man's life. By showing the breakdown of religious meaning, both symbolically and in people's everyday lives, Hemingway highlights that the war drives people to immorality and inhumanity. The old man in the story corresponds to a biblical figure associated with love, mercy, and sacrifice, the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd, a representation of Christ, loves and protects all of God's creatures, even to the extent of sacrificing his own life for them. In compassionately caring for his animals and even risking his life by postponing his evacuation from a war zone, the old man clearly resembles the Good Shepherd. However, when an army captain tells the old man that he must flee artillery fire, the old man evacuates, abandoning his animals instead of dying to protect them. This, coupled with the old man's presumed death at the end of the story, darkly hints that the compassion and sacrifice are not taken care of. The next theme of the story is alienation. The title character of Old Man at the Bridge has no family, no politics, and nowhere to go. The violence of the Spanish Civil War has forced the old man to flee his hometown and his beloved animals. which are seemingly the only sources of joy in his life. He sits by the side of the road while others flee, apparently resigned to dying there when the violence arrives. The story implies that it's the man's alienation that has drained him of the will to live. After all, he has no political stake in the conflict, nobody who can take him in, and he cannot return to his animals, which seem to be his only responsibility and connection to others. Furthermore, the narrator, who treats him with some detachment, fails to make a difference. In this way, Hemingway shows that the war alienates people from the connections that are meaningful to them, and the man's presumed death suggests that alienated life is perhaps not worth living at all. So children, this was all with regard to the short story Old Man at the Bridge. I'm going to attach with this video an assignment. Kindly attempt this assignment in your FAIR Literature and English notebooks. Thank you and have a nice day. God bless you all.